Bohemian Grove is a highly enigmatic retreat that has spurred curiosity and conspiracy for over a century. Its origins date back to 1872, when a group of San Francisco journalists, artists, and musicians founded the Bohemian Club. The founders, notably including writer and humorist Mark Twain, actor Henry Edwards, and poet Charles Warren Stoddard, sought to foster creativity and camaraderie away from societal constraints. They established a sanctuary where they could revel in cultural pursuits and nature's beauty. The notion of bohemianism was central to their identity, countering the mainstream values of the era with ones of artistic freedom and unconventional living. By 1878, the club members held their inaugural gathering within a magnificent redwood forest north of San Francisco, which came to be known as Bohemian Grove. This grove represented a sacred escape, where the cares of the world could be forgotten and the simplicity of camaraderie sustained. Though initially a refugium for artists, the club gradually opened its doors to influential businessmen and political figures, intertwining affluence with artistry. These annual retreats grew to be legendary, with elaborate rituals that bonded its members. At the heart of these ceremonies is the cremation of care, where an effigy known as Care is symbolically burned to rid the attendees of their worldly troubles and to embrace the pleasures of a carefree existence. Performed at an elaborate lakeside setting, the ceremony is theatrical and mystical, captivating new members and continuing a Grove tradition shrouded in secrecy. The staging ground for the cremation of Care is graced by a towering statue of an owl, representing wisdom and knowledge. The performance includes music, pyrotechnics, and dramatic readings, culminating with the incineration of the effigy. Despite being saturated in allegory and pageantry, this and other Grove rituals have spurred numerous conspiracy theories around secretive elite plotting and pagan worshipping. Throughout its history, Bohemian Grove has been associated with some of the United States' most powerful men. Notable figures such as President Theodore Roosevelt, President Richard Nixon, and President Ronald Reagan, among others, were attendees at the Grove, reinforcing the perception of its influence on national and even global affairs. While the presence of such individuals confirms the Grove's allure to the American elite, it equally fuels speculations regarding the extent of its sway on public practices and policies. Journalists and conspiracy theorists alike have generated a dizzying array of postulates about what transpires within the Grove. Among the most notorious claims are those related to human sacrifice and occult activities. Despite no credible evidence to substantiate such chilling practices, these rumors prove tenacious, likely rooted in sensationalized reporting and a profound distrust of the power elite who shield their private goings-on from public scrutiny. The founding principles of the Bohemian Club espoused a strong understanding of leisure and promised to cast aside matters of business and politics within their grove, at least ostensibly. The main ceremony of Bohemian Grove, the Cremation of Care, features a dramatic production that happens at the start of the annual gathering. Members observe as an effigy symbolizing care is burned before an enormous owl statue, signifying wisdom and knowledge. This ritual ostensibly represents the purging of worldly concerns to foster a carefree environment. The fact that the ceremony is performed largely out of the sight of non-members has led to a multitude of theories and accusations, from occult practices to shadow governance. Over time, membership policies evolved, and the club began to admit powerful businessmen and politicians, significantly altering the Grove's character from an art-friendly retreat to a closed-door congregation of the elite. Notable members have included U.S. presidents like Theodore Roosevelt, Herbert Hoover, Ronald Reagan, and other long-standing figures of significant stature. Rumors suggest that policy decisions and political deals, such as the planning of the nuclear Manhattan Project, were shaped amidst the Grove's isolation, leading critics to question the influence such a gathering should wield. Bohemian Grove is also known for its off-record lakeside talks, where influential individuals discuss a wide array of topics. Though no official record is kept of these talks, they are understood to be platforms for sharing ideas across sectors. Figures like former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and business magnate David Rockefeller have been past speakers, reinforcing perceptions of the Grove as a forum for elite planning and discussion. Spying into the Grove's secrets has long exerted fascination over journalists and conspiracy theorists alike. One of the most notable infiltrations was by journalist Philip Weiss, who wrote a detailed account of his observations for Spy magazine in the 1980s. Weiss conjectured that while Bohemian Grove served as a networking hub, it was as much about wealthy and powerful individuals enjoying a bacchanalian respite from public life as it was about political machinations. The various camps at Bohemian Grove function as sub-communities within the larger gathering, named entities like Mandalay, Caveman, and Silverado Squatters, among others. Each camp has its own distinct culture and traditions, housing members based on common backgrounds and interests. For example, the Hillbillies camp is rumored to have hosted several U.S. presidents, while Mandalay has been associated with influential business leaders. Public perception of Bohemian Grove ranges from a harmless, albeit secretive men's club to an organization accused of pulling strings behind the world's political stage. These images are nurtured by both the privacy demanded at the gatherings and the disparate list of prominent attendees combining the spheres of politics, finance, entertainment, and media. The variety of viewpoints speaks to how ingrained the Grove has become in contemporary mythology surrounding power structures. Among the enduring conspiracy theories related to Bohemian Grove is the notion of human sacrifice rituals. These are inspired by the cremation of care ceremony and lack substantiation, yet persist in the popular imagination due in part to sensationalist representations in media and the secrecy of the proceedings. To date, no credible evidence has emerged to verify such sinister activities, and former attendees have clarified that the ceremony, while ominous, is purely symbolic. Conspiracy theories linking Bohemian Grove to pagan worship and child sacrifice have circulated for decades, drawing parallels to ancient rituals such as those of the pagan god Baal or Moloch, who was historically associated with child sacrifice in some ancient civilizations. Detractors of the Grove focus on the cremation of care ceremony, claiming that the burning of an effigy before a large owl statue resembles ancient sacrificial practices. The owl is sometimes equated with Moloch, a Canaanite deity often represented as an owl and renowned for the abhorrent practice of child sacrifice in historical accounts. However, scholars and experts on pagan traditions refute such comparisons, clarifying that the symbolism within modern Bohemian Grove is far removed from the literal interpretations of ancient rites. Eyewitnesses and club members argue that the ceremony is purely allegorical, designed to create a sense of liberation from societal stresses rather than to reenact historical sacrifices. The controversial owl statue is explained by insiders as representing wisdom, not Moloch, and the effigy burned is said to symbolize the relinquishment of worldly concerns, not an actual person or child. Critics often overlook the wider context of Bohemian Grove's theatrical traditions, evolved from the club's artistic roots, which employ metaphor and spectacle to foster camaraderie among its members. No concrete proof has substantiated the sensational claims against the Grove, but due to the secretive nature of the private gatherings, conjecture remains steadfast. Relations between the Bohemian Grove activities and broader global events remain speculative. Accusations that major political and financial decisions trace back to agreements made in the Grove are difficult to either substantiate or entirely dispel due to the lack of transparency and record-keeping of what transpires within the retreat. While the club itself dismisses such speculation, the lack of public access to sessions and discussions fuels continuous conjecture and suspicion. Apart from cremation of care, other forms of entertainment include the Grove Play, an annual large-scale theatrical production that often requires months of preparation and has included grand stage work. The play is a continuation of the club's traditional focus on the arts, albeit now catering to an audience of some of the most influential figures in the Western world. Such performances have captured the imagination of both participants and outsiders, reflecting the blend of creativity and exclusivity that defines the Grove. Throughout the years, notable people beyond U.S. presidents have been linked to Bohemian Grove. Business leaders such as Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and tech giants like the late Steve Jobs allegedly took part in the retreat. Media moguls, top-tier military officers, academic figures, and high-ranking intelligence officials have also reportedly walked among the redwoods, contributing to the multifaceted assemblage the Grove hosts. While the high profile networking at Bohemian Grove can't be disputed, the club maintains that all business dealings and conversations of a commercial nature are banned during the retreat, emphasizing the original Bohemian spirit of the event. This policy is thought to encourage open and honest interaction devoid of external pressures, though skeptics claim it's naive to think that such gathering of minds wouldn't naturally lead to informal, impactful agreements. Criticism of Bohemian Grove has not only been confined to the activities within, but also to environmental concerns surrounding the redwood forest. Environmentalists have occasionally clashed with the club over its land management practices, citing the need to conserve the delicate ecosystem of the old growth forest. These sometimes contentious relations underscore the tension between preserving the grove's pristine setting for future generations and utilizing the land to suit the needs of its members. The security apparatus designed to protect the privacy of Bohemian Grove members is formidable. Outsiders attempting to sneak into observing the happenings are met with significant resistance, often in the form of legal action. High profile breaches, however, such as by Alex Jones in 2000, have prompted the club to continually reassess and enhance security measures to safeguard against unwelcome intrusions. Within the Grove, the American social order's traditional markers are temporarily suspended to encourage a sense of egalitarianism. Power players and industry captains are said to mingle without regard to their rank or social standing, engaging in everything from skeet shooting to impromptu musical performances. This atmosphere is reported to create a unique environment where creativity and relationships flourish. Popular culture has reflected society's continued fascination with Bohemian Grove, incorporating its themes into various fictional works, from films to novels. These portrayals oscillate from dark, behind the scenes manipulating and thrillers to more subtle suggestions of high powered men conspiring in luxury. Each depiction reinforces the enigma that envelopes the Grove in the minds of the public. The age of digital transparency presents a new challenge to maintaining the secrecy that has long defined Bohemian Grove. Though the rigorous effort to keep gatherings private remains successful in many respects, there's increasing scrutiny from activists and the media, who leverage technology to shed light on the club's clandestine engagements. Analyzing the global influence of Bohemian Grove memberships remains an ongoing point of focus for scholars and conspiracy theorists alike. While the immediate effects of discussions taking place within the retreat may not be observable, the networking and bonds formed among key players potentially resonate through their subsequent actions and decisions on national and international stages. Bohemian Grove's roster reads like a who's who of American influence, encompassing figures from Mark Twain in its early days to modern entrepreneurs like Elon Musk. The diversity of membership confirms the Grove's enduring appeal to the American elite, serving as a gathering place for influencers in the world's cultural, economic, and political arenas. Ultimately, Bohemian Grove's persistent allure lies in its impenetrable mix of genuine camaraderie, elaborate traditions, and the kernel of truth to some of the less fantastical hypothesizing about its purpose. It serves as an exclusive venue where America's privileged convene to escape the responsibilities and hardships tied to their roles in society, thereby symbolizing the enduring power of secret spaces in an increasingly open world. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm Dave. Have a happy Dave.